Okay. There we go. Okay, welcome everybody to another live show. This fine Tuesday warm evening that we find ourselves in. Hangout wise, it's myself and Mike, so it's quite a relaxed, quiet one. We also have Mike's dog in the background.
Yeah, wanted to make an appearance. It's great timing, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's just the two. There's just the three of us, and everybody who's been in the chat as well. So we'll go through that. Phil is still not well. He's recovering. He's had a lot of medication, and he still needs a lot more rest. So keeping updated with him daily. I'm passing on all the well wishes towards him as well, because we've had a lot of people message and wish him their best. So we've been passing those on. So thank you everyone for that. But other than that, it's just the two of us. So we had, from the beginning, I think we had Armour Freak was the first one in today. Can't remember how early it was. And since then, there has been a pre-show party. There's been quite a lot of people just sitting chatting for a good 2 hours, maybe 3 hours, if not more. Which was interesting because I was sitting editing the battle report, which was filmed on Sunday, was it?
Yes.
So I was editing that, and in the background, I could see from this monitor that there was chat going off, and I was just like, that's early. But it's great. It's great to see people getting along as well and helping each other out early on. We'll go through the chat, then we'll talk about what we're gonna be talking about this evening. And if anybody's got questions, as always, throw them out and we'll answer them. And we'll go through this as much as possible. Thought start at 9. Yeah, it's literally just started, Evo. Okay, so we have Armour Freak. It is 9 o'clock, isn't it? Yeah, it is.
I think so.
I was thinking maybe I started it an hour late or an hour early. 9 p.m. in the UK. Yeah. Okay, so Armour Freak, listener, another early one. Robbie Cohen, another early. We have Akaya. Now, Akaya is now moderator for YouTube. We said we were looking for moderators. The second person we were tempted to put in as a moderator on the YouTube was potentially Surreal, and he's had his moments in the past, and I'm sure he's got many more moments in the future. And we missed him last week. His 100% attendance went down a little bit because he wasn't here, so hopefully he was all well. I did see him in the chat earlier, so I hope he's still there. But we've got Akaya helping us out now, which is very very nice of him to spend his time helping us. We also have, let's go down. Oh, I'm going through the text, the whole chat. So the Orc Boys, we have Stalker 40k, welcome mate. Else? Andrew Snowden, Surreal, like I've already said. Ralph Hummel, welcome. Thomas Hooper, Rower, Ryan Benfield, Kenny Bickerton. Oh, it's done it. It's done it, Mike. It's skipped. I apologise if I don't do everyone's name. Underdog Painting, Smallest Miner, Johnny Rockstar, Blade of Templar, Sean Jewett, Brain Spider, welcome dude. Nick Davidson, hello. Brian Harris, Evo, Sluddick, Auric Loveguard, saying get well soon, Phil. Brian Harris, hi all, long time viewer, first time participant, love the show, very informative. Thank you, Brian. Thank you for joining us in the chat. It's always nice to see new names and new faces pop up. So thank you for joining. If anybody else is new to the chat as well, feel free to say hello and jump in at any point. And if you're watching this back and you manage to get us on a live show, just jump in the chat. It's a free for all. Who else? We have Graham Rigg, welcome. Stalker 40k. So Sam Russ arrived today. Thanks, mate. Now to pluck up the courage to get him up and sorted. That's good. I'm glad it arrived. So Stalker 40k contacted me because I was selling my Russ model, and he wanted a Russ model, so he bought one off me. So I sent that the other day, which arrived. And also the winner of the 5,000 subscriber, he got the models this morning, and they all arrived intact with no breaks whatsoever, which was quite impressive because that was over in Germany. So that was good postal or good packaging. I don't think it was the greatest packaging. Prorizo, really glad to see you guys expanding into historical gaming. Can't wait to see it. Yeah, neither can I. I mean, I've kind of been talking non-stop about historical for the last few days, haven't I, Mike?
Yeah, well, I think it's been words. It's already started, and we're only just 5 minutes in. It's been on both our minds, to be honest, hasn't it? The past couple of days, we've been talking a lot more about that than anything.
Yeah, we'll go into that. We've got a lot to talk about with bolt action.
Yeah,
we've got a lot to talk about Primaris as well, because we've had some Space Marines. We've got some Space Marine information to talk about, which is cool. So I think tonight will be Space Marines, bolt action. Let's keep going through. Actually, we'll talk about that in a second. So I've got Ian Stanford, welcome. Robin Hood, hello, Robin Hood. Kablams. I feel with Phil. My wife's back gave way on Sunday too. Had to rush her to hospital. It's not nice. I can't imagine. I mean, I have bad backs from sitting painting, and as I'm sure most of us do, from being hunched over desks for hours at a time. But I can only imagine how much pain he's in. He's quite a manly man, is Phil, and he doesn't normally let on that he's in pain in any way, shape, or form. And it's the first time since I've known him to see him where he actually looks a little bit fractured. So it's not nice to see. So hopefully he's going to be back to usual soon and giving me grief, because I'm used to that side of Phil. We've got Neil Malden, welcome. Scott Beale, love the show, get well, Phil. Ian Stanford plays bolt action, nice one. James Jones just posted Death Leaper now, doing the final touches. Yes, if we get time, we will go through the Facebook as well, and we'll look at WGO Chronicles. Space Marines in World War II, you what, mate? What did I title this as? New Space Marines, World War II, and... Oh, it's because I took them all together. Yeah, there's no commas in my titles, I'm afraid.
Oh, dear.
You know what? We did say that, though. We were talking about playing bolt action, and I get to bring all of the Conflict 47 miniatures, didn't I? You were only allowed bolt action. So you're playing World War II, and I'm bringing all of these mech suits and stuff, and I just step on things. Yeah. Would have loved to see the activation sequence in 40k or AOS, but hey, can't have everything, says Ralph. Yeah, the bolt. We'll talk about that. Remind me to talk about the activation sequence of bolt action, Mike.
You can definitely tell it's on your mind because you keep trying to go to it.
I know. Johnny Rockstar had to ditch his new magnifier goggles for painting as they were too powerful. Painting a Harlequin with them was like painting a wall with a 4-inch brush. Jesus. The 12 Neef has joined. Welcome, 12 Neef. Neil Malden, now you're doing historical. I will be checking you're using the correct colours, orders of battle, etc. You know what? I've been chatting to a few people about this, and they said, don't worry, you don't need to get it 100%. It doesn't matter. You can do what you want. And I'm like, no, I have to do it because people will, I would get messages on a daily basis saying I'm doing stuff wrong, so I have to try and get this right. And you're the first one, Neil. You're the first one to say that you're going to be checking. So it's going to be a learning experience. We've said this. Actually, me and Mike, we haven't said it out yet, but let's go straight on to bolt action, Mike.
Do you want to get it out there now? Yeah?
Well, we're talking about it. Okay, so bolt action, we've decided to start historical as well as Conflict 47. So Warlord Games sent us the the Soviet starter set and the German starter set, and we unboxed it, we looked at it, and we thought this looks amazing. However, we've been looking into bolt action as well quite a bit, and the World War II miniatures and the whole... I'm not very knowledgeable in terms of world wars and history and that sort of stuff. I know generally what happened, and I know where certain conflicts happened, but I'm not knowledgeable. It's not like I know more about the Horus Heresy and the 41st millennium than I do about my actual, this actual real world history. So that's kind of sad to say, but we're not experts. So we're learning this both in history and in rules and a new system, and obviously alongside that you've got the learning of the camouflages and all the different theatres of war and what is going to be correct, and making sure we try and do it as good as possible. I've looked through the rules. I've gone through the whole rule book. I've not gone through it with a fine comb. I've just I've generally had a quick flick through and looked at how the game plays. The biggest thing I think I'm going to have issues with straight away is trying to get the theatres correct. So me and Mike want to play initially, so it's going to be me playing Germans, and Mike is playing... Who are you playing, Mike?
US.
You're playing the US. So you have... and it's basically trying to find a mid to late war conflict where the Americans and the Germans fought each other, and make sure that we get our camouflages, the tanks and everything that was used in that time period correct, and make sure that we've got the right sort of miniatures and things like that. So that's what we're going to be aiming to do, and obviously there's going to be a lot of veterans out there who know what they're talking about, and we're more than open to getting advice. So feel free to give us as much advice as possible. I've already put a post on the Facebook group and had some books delivered at the studio waiting for me. So tomorrow or the next day, I'm going to go over and pick those up just to get a bit of reference material. Steve over at Rubicon as well sent us. Well, he's not sent it yet. He's sending it tomorrow. He's super fast. He messaged me today. He sent me a picture of a box of stuff, which he's sending me and Mike. So I think we've got 3. Actually, no, I'm going to get the picture up. This is going to be good viewing. I can't get it up on screen. That's even better, isn't it? Right. So what are we getting? I'm having a Panzer IV, a Tiger 1, and a Stug 3. So I think they're all the main tanks, heavy tanks or light tanks. And then I'm having a SDKFZ armoured fighting vehicle. I think that's a half track. And a SDKFZ. Oh, there's 2. What's that? One of them looks like...
It's going to be quite difficult for us to remember the names for everything, isn't it?
For at least a week. And then some. One looks like a half track and one looks like a buggy sort of thing. Anyway, Mike's getting 2 Shermans. An armoured personnel carrier, a tank destroyer called an M10, and a cargo truck. So we're each having 2 transports and 3 tanks from Rubicon models. So Steve's been really generous with that, so thanks for that. And we'll do unboxings on that as well. Oh, there's a helicopter going overhead.
Quite close, I think, though.
I could literally, that's hovering over the house. They're looking for Rachel. Rachel's gone out tonight. She's not here. They're not going to find her. And also, on top of that...
You made that sound quite dark, though. They're not going to find her.
Osprey Games have sent us the 2nd edition rulebook. We've got 3 of the campaign books as well for doing different campaigns. And they also sent some Frostgrave books and Dracula's America. So we've got a lot to do, a lot to get through. Really exciting stuff. Let's go through the chat, actually. See what people are saying. Oh, there's a lot. There's a lot.
All right, okay.
See, I talked for a few minutes. Okay. So brain inspired a chronic pain from FSHD, and I've learned to soldier on, but sometimes it does get really bad and can't do anything at all for several days. That's not good. I couldn't imagine not being able to use my hands for painting or playing games, or as well eyes. I think eyes would be the one thing that I'd hate to lose. I think it'd be, if I was blind, it would be impossible, I think. Anyway, that's dark. Let's carry on. Let's talk about fake things and imaginary wars, but we're going to talk about World War II. It's only going to get darker, isn't it?
Well, the thing that I'm quite looking forward to, obviously we need to find out the actual colour schemes and stuff like that first, so we're going to try and get it as accurate as we can, is that it's going to be a slightly different painting style to what we're used to doing. If you think about it, as far as 40k wise goes, it's all high contrasting colours, edge highlighting and all that, and I doubt that we're going to have so much that when doing the bolt action stuff, are we?
No, it's going to be more realistic, weathering, correct uniforms, and it's going to be a learning experience. So if there's people who haven't done this either, if there's a lot of people who have stuck with 40k or fantasy or different types of games and never bothered doing historical like us, and it might be a kind of a look into how it works out without having to spend any money. Or if people want to get involved at the same time as us, they can learn it at the same point and see what happens. So it's a good time for us to do it, I think.
Yeah, well, we're looking at I think it's about 1,000 points each. We're looking at starting off with at least.
Yeah, we'll do a 1,000-point army, and Phil will be doing Russians, I think, because he really likes the Russians in Conflict 47. Dave's doing the British, and Pink will probably be doing the Japanese. So there's going to be up to 5 of us, I think, at WGO, and the helpers of WGO that will be playing Bolt Action and Conflict 47. But it's going to be exciting. Let me just keep going through this though, because otherwise we're going to have to do a quick fire round, otherwise, aren't we? I've lost it. So Ian Stanford says, I have US Rangers Army. We'll talk about the debate between the armies in a minute. Ryan saying he must resist not starting bolt action. He really wants to, though. Yeah, I've resisted for a little bit and now I've given up. Armour Freak wants to do a Panzer division, but one project at a time. So you say that, but I've got about 4,000 or 5,000 points of Black Dragons that haven't even been started yet. And we'll talk about Primaris and Marines soon, but they need to be started at some point. Brain Spiders.
Well, this is the thing. Even with doing this bolt action, we're still going to be carry on doing Sigma and Eighth alongside it still.
Yeah. We were only talking earlier. I mean, one of the things we'll look at tonight is the what's it called? Path to Glory. So the campaign that's being released or been released from Games Workshop. So we'll be talking about that because that might be a way for us to do a bit more Age of Sigmar in like a skirmish type of way for the moment. Not skirmish, but you know what I mean, building an army for Age of Sigmar. I think it'll be the next Chronicles event. We'll do 40k and then we'll give it a few months at least, I think, and then we'll do Age of Sigmar and we'll do the Age of Sigmar Chronicles, and we may do it as a Path to Glory style event. And then we've also got Age of Sigmar Skirmish, which we can do as well in between. So we've got a lot to do. So let's keep going. 12 Neef, Auric Loveged says 2-time World War champion, America. 12 Neef says, you're British, your education should be far superior than we Americans. Should be. Doesn't necessarily mean it is, though. Armour Freak saying World War II history is quite interesting. I would recommend any of the books on the war by Stephen A. Ambrose. Okay, that's good. I'll have to write that down. Hold on, I can screenshot if I can find it, because I won't remember otherwise. Oh my god, there's a lot of chat. We're going to have to quick fire it, Mike.
Okay.
Oh, I've lost it. Can somebody message me on Facebook, please? Just send me the name, Stephen A. Ambrose. I'm probably going to get a load of people message me just that now. Anyway, I actually started with Wargaming. This is Ralph Homer. Started Wargaming with bolt action before getting more involved with GW stuff, so that's interesting. Somebody started with the historical and went to the sci-fi. Nick Davidson's getting distracted by side projects. James Jones is saying #Kraut kicker. No, I'm going to be playing Germans. Ralph Hummelai will eventually start a British army. Okay. So Battle of Normandy or North Africa? I think it'll be Normandy. I would like to do. You've got moths flying around, Mike.
I know.
Warlord du Vallejo.
It's because where I have this light, I have the light right in front of me, so it's every single time they just descend from nowhere.
Yeah, Orc Boys is saying Warlord du Vallejo. There we go. Cheers, Akaya. Saying Warlord du Vallejo paint sets for the figures, and I have seen those. We'll have to. Vallejo sent us that huge box of paints, which we're using for tutorials. I'm working on one tomorrow, hopefully, if I get a chance to get that tutorial done. So, Rob Norton's joined. G'day, mates. Welcome. Prezero started with Normandy, but eventually wanted to go to North Africa Theatre. Armour Freak saying, I will not refrain from not being picky about the Stug not being a tank. Okay. Oh, I will refrain, yeah. Sean Dewitt saying, Sam and Mike, have you watched the film Fury yet? Yes, I have. Have you, Mike? Brad Pitt?
No.
Brad Pitt in a tank. I thought it was amazing.
No, I don't think so.
Alright, you'll have to come around and watch it then. This is the reason why I was debating on Americans over Germans, just because of the amount of movies that I quite like watching, like Saving Private Ryan and the Band of Brothers series. I absolutely love that. Fury was
We're not
great.
going to change again, are we? I'm just checking now.
No.
Right, good. Everyone's heard it. It's not changing.
No.
Right, you can carry on.
Maybe.
No, it's not.
We may switch.
No.
We may switch just before. I don't know. We've got Germans and Americans that me or Mike is doing.
We won't switch before.
We may switch. I just realised now I do like Band of Brothers and Fury. Anyway, let's keep going. We can't stop, and we'll debate about that later, Mike.
It's not debate.
I'm going to have to skip some of this chat, I'm afraid. But it looks like there's a lot. Spearmint Otter's joined. Welcome. Is this the Mike show? No, it's not yet. Sorry. It will be. You will do a Mike show at some point, though. Oh my god, I've lost it again. This chat is rubbish.
You're struggling tonight, you know.
I really am struggling. It's because there's a lot of chat, and it's just flipping through. Rachel's boozing again. Bad girl. She's actually on a work. Yeah, she's out drinking again. £24 isn't bad for 25 infantry models. I'll tell you what, we'll have a look at the Warlord website as well if we get a chance, because they've got some awesome models on there. Sean's saying, I just saw that one pop up. Band of Brothers was taken from the book that Ambrose wrote. His books are ace. Okay, yeah, I might have to read these books and then I might be playing Americans, Mike. The bonus is,
you won't
though,
be playing. No, you're not playing Americans.
Mike, listen.
It's not happening.
Listen,
no,
listen,
no,
listen,
no.
Listen, honey, listen. The bonus to you playing Germans is I have the German Conflict 47 box here, so I can give you that, and then I can go and get the American box.
I want to play Americans.
Damn. Well, we don't all get what we want, do we?
Carry
on. What else we got? Thordelin de Caladai. Oh, yes, that's who said, is this the Mike show? I have British and German Panzer Grenadier armies. Stalker says he can't play any more games. I'm 40k mad and maybe a little AOS. Just can't devote any more time to games. That's what I thought. I'm too busy editing and I haven't got time for anything. But I really want to squeeze in historical gaming just a little bit. And that's what I'm going to do. And even if it was just me and Mike doing the main stuff, you and me can easily just pop down a studio and play a couple of games here and there, can't we? And build up an army on the side. And even if Phil and Dave and Pink don't play as regularly, you and me can at least just keep playing games and battering each other over and over again, so it'll be fine. When Chronicles wraps up, if the next thing is a bolt action event, I will for sure use it as an excuse to buy some sexy German tanks. That's the thing that attracted me to the Germans. All of the tanks, they're so nice. Game mechanics are easier to learn than GW. I do like the system, how it plays. I like the fact that there isn't a movement, a shooting, not psychic. You're not going to have psychers in World War II, but it's not split up into phases. From what I can gather, if you have 5 units, you put 5 dice into a bag. The enemy, if they have 10 units, they get 10 dice and they put them in a bag. And what you do is you take a dice out the bag, and whichever colour it is, if it's my colour, I get to put that dice on a unit and you choose an order to do. And that order can be shooting, it can be moving and shooting, it could be running, so I get to move twice as far. This is testing my knowledge now, I can remove pinning tokens, which is used all throughout the game. It looks like pinning is a huge part of the game. I can go to the ground and make it harder to hit me, and I can set up an ambush. So if somebody else uses a order to move and they go up in front of me, I can then ambush, jump out and say surprise, and then shoot them in the face. So I quite like the reactive gameplay throughout all of it. It isn't phase-based or even turn-based, really. It's just pick a dice out of a bag and react, which is quite cool. Let's keep going. You haven't seen any of the rules, though, have you, Mike?
No, I've only heard them from you.
And I've only read them briefly. Stalker saying, but you would be up for some Desert Storm. Not fussed on the older stuff. Ian Stanford's watching some war films, yeah. So Stephen Ambrose wrote Band of Brothers, fair enough then. I did read a little bit in the Battle of the Bulge campaign book that was, Osprey sent, and it was talking about Captain Winters in there. And I remembered that being in Band of Brothers and him being the ginger dude, the ginger captain, who ends up just being badass all the way through it. I thought Mike was waving at us. That must be when you were attacking that moth. And then now there's hashtag Team Mike's Moths. Did anyone else notice the Reaver's pistols come pre-drilled? Side hole only, though. No, I didn't. Noodles is saying Moths versus Mike. Epic battle. Fury's a great film. Okay. Johnny Rockstar, I try not to talk about World War II after the last time. Okay. I think we're catching up. Watch Cross of Iron. Okay, I need to write that down as well. Akaya, can you send me that, please? Cross of Iron.
I think there's going to be a lot that we need to watch.
Mike, I have a quote for you about American tanks. This was told to my father by a former German tank commander while he was stationed in Germany. Okay, I can't see a quote, so maybe it's going to be sent to you separately. Sean saying, hold your ground, Mike. Brain Spider says, don't go calling Mike Honey just because Phil's not around. He'll be heartbroken if he sees you saying that. I like how it's not like my wife. This is Phil. Are you gents feeling okay? You seem a wee bit subdued. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's because we're all missing Phil. I think maybe that's why we're a bit subdued. And I've been editing all day, so it's been a long day. There's a really good Age of Sigmar battle report coming out next Sunday, though. So look forward to that. It was Skaven versus Seraphon, so it's Rachel versus Mike. And it's a good game so far. I'm up to turn 3. I'm not going to say when it goes till, but it's a good game. Ian Stanford will send pictures of our Bolt Action Club games at Club. And Terra's uses basically the same mechanics as Bolt Action, by the way. That's interesting then. Susanna West, I live in Jamaica and love tabletop war games, but there's no shops and online shipping is stupid expensive. Any ideas? I don't know. I don't know if there's any companies, if there's like a standard shipping to Jamaica. I don't know how shipping works to Jamaica, to be honest with you. Whether it's expensive because you're buying it through an independent store, or have you tried going direct to the supplier to see if they can get it sent to you for less? It's down to whether it's the supplier or the postal service, like the shipping, that's expensive. And it depends if there's a way around it, other than standing at an airport and asking people to bring stuff back from holidays and things. I think that's the only idea I can come with, and that's a rubbish one, so I apologise. Bolt Action is often won or lost through pin markers. Rolf saying, yeah, pinning is huge. Yeah. So the way that the pinning system works, did I tell you, Mike, how it generally works?
I'm not sure. Go for it.
Well, I don't know 100%, but I think the way that I remembered it was, if you have a unit, say I'm shooting at you, if I shoot one of my units at your unit and I manage to get one hit, you get a pin marker on you. Regardless of how many hits I manage to do. If I get 10 hits, it's still only one pin marker. If I do another unit, then an A hit, that's another pin marker. And you can keep adding pin markers onto you for as many as I get hits with separate units. If I manage to put as many pin markers on you as your morale, the stat that you have as a morale for that unit, then they're removed off the table at that point. So you can flat out kill them. But I think if you've had that many units shooting at you, you're generally going to die before you run from the pinning being an issue. However, whenever you try and do an order, so if you take the dice out of a bag and you want to use that dice to, say, shoot with your unit, if you've got pinning markers on you, you have to do a test. You have to do a morale test. So you roll the 2 dice and you have to get equal to or less than whatever your morale is. And obviously the pinning markers negate that as well. So it can get to the point where your pinning stops you from being able to do stuff. And if you fail to do an order, you have to use the down command. You lie down, and then at the end of the turn, you can get rid of, I think, D3 pin markers. But it means you're lying down for a turn or more potentially. So I think pinning is quite a big thing. The other thing I thought that was quite good is if you have a NCO, which is a non-commissioned officer. I'm learning all sorts from this. If you lose your officer, then you automatically have -1 morale. However, certain armies, like the Germans, they get a special rule. When you lose your NCO, if you roll a dice on a 2 to a 6, somebody else in the unit takes over and becomes the new NCO of the unit. And that's part of their rules for being Germans. So I've actually taken in quite a lot of information, saying I sat reading it for about an hour max. So it's not, I'm going to say it's not difficult, but when we play it, we're going to have loads of rules wrong. But it seems quite, decent. The other thing is, I think there's a lot of stuff for critical hits and critical failures and stuff like that. So Anyway,
So
Surreal's back.
before we actually get around to playing a game, we're going to go through a lot of this, and we've read a lot more, and we'll have tested things and a lot anyway, won't we? So
Yeah, I think what we'll do is we'll get the tanks from Steve at Rubicon. We'll get them built up. We'll get some infantry together, and we'll build up a 1,000-point force. And then we'll just start playing some games and see how it goes. And from that, we'll see where we go. We'll see if we want to do different scenarios and make it complicated. I don't think campaigns for bolt action will be done until later, because Steve was saying there's no point worrying about it early on. We may as well learn the game, get the rules down, and then later on we can do things like campaigns and separate stuff. And we can build armies just to play campaigns as well, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Anyway, Ralph Hummel, yeah, me too, been editing all day. A translation for AOS. So I think Ralph does the German editing for Black Library. I think that's what he was saying he was doing. He says you have nailed the pinning mechanics pretty well with your explanations as well. That's good then. At least I didn't mess that up too much. And there's a lot of people saying try the War Store or Game Nerds. Nerds will give you more discount for more you buy. Watch the Band of Brothers miniseries. It's about the US in Normandy to the end. What was the Band of Brothers miniseries? I watched Band of Brothers, but I didn't know there was another one. I know there's the Pacific, and I haven't started watching that yet because Rachel, she needs to say yes, she'll watch it. So Surreal is back. He went AFK for a little bit. Surreal, are you okay? Because we haven't seen you on the last show. I was a little bit worried, and I think everybody in the chat said we can't start until you had actually arrived. So we almost cancelled the show. It was pretty drastic. I was distraught. What else do we have? Band of Brothers Carrington was a standout battle fighting against German paras. Okay, Saving Private Ryan was based on a 10-line excerpt from the book Band of Brothers. I watched Saving Private Ryan on Saturday or Friday just to get into the drive. If you want to get up and running quickly with bolt action, just go infantry. Cheers for that, Akaya. He's just sent me a separate message that I can't read out. Vander's Hammerhand. Hello, people. Seems I came a bit later than usual. Okay is a relative term. That's not good, Surreal. I hope everything gets better then. Oh, that's not good. Surreal's not good. Phil's not good. This is why we're down, Mike. Frost and Fist has got it right. We are genuinely in a sad time. Anyway, right. We've gone for almost... Oh, wow. Jeez. It's been almost 30 minutes and we've not actually done anything.
Isn't that like our normal shows? To be honest, we normally get that far in and we haven't covered much.
Let me see what we can do about that then. Let's talk before we might go back later on. I'm getting a load of photos. Ooh, bolt action photos. I don't think I can get these up on screen. Right, I'll have a look at those later. Thank you for those. Let's do the new unit. So this isn't from Warhammer. This is leaked, basically. What's going to be released on the 29th of June. Let's see if we can get up the browser. Sorry, Mike, you're going to have to go for a little bit.
That's fine.
Right, so this is what's being released on the 29th of June. If you haven't seen it already, we've got the Primaris Aggressors. So these are the new Terminator. I don't know if they are Terminator equivalents, but they do look like it. They look like they're in the Gravis armor, and they did say that wasn't Terminator armor. It's another variant of the Mark 10 power armor. So we'll have to find out exactly what that is eventually. The Ice Chief, welcome. Are they easy build again? No, I don't think these ones are. We'll go on to the next ones as well, which are definitely not as well. So anyway, these aggressors look pretty cool. They've got giant missiles on the back of them. They've got almost Marnie's Calgar power fists on all of them, which are just insane.
Yeah.
I really like them, to be honest. And I think with a little bit of nice posing on them, they'll look good. They are £30 for 3 of them. So again, they're Centurion pricing. At least they've not put them up too much, but overall, not bad. I don't think we can zoom in too much, but that's cool. I just think they do need the
They
poses.
are some nice looking models, though.
They just need the poses changing. Sam does ramble, but I find it's great to listen to and get a hobby done. Also, if you look at Mike, he has mastered the art of sleeping with his eyes open. Nice one, Akaya. And Paul Davidson saying bigger targets, those aggressors, which they certainly are. Bit confused why they haven't released the basic Intercessor squad kits at first. They probably might, I mean, they're not releasing them on the 29th, I don't think, but that is a bit weird. Maybe because everyone, I mean, I've got 50 or 60 Intercessors now sitting in a shelf, but I need the rest. Are they multi-pose though, says Robbie? I don't know. I imagine they will be. These ones, the ones that are easy build were the Primaris Reavers and the Intercessors. Matthew Lawless is saying we're so close to that Redemptor. Yes, we are. That's the 29th as well. So price-wise, the aggressors were 30. These 10-man Reaver squad is 35. This is pounds, not dollars, by the way. What was the other one? The Dreadnought is £40. That's quite a bit more expensive, but it is huge. So when you compare it to the equivalent size Dreadnoughts from Forge World, or if GW were going to be doing a kit of that size, it's not that bad. What else was there? The book is, the Codex is coming out, that's £30. And then the cards are coming out, which are £10. And because I'm not doing anything other than Primaris in my army, Mike's going to be able to have all of the Space Marine cards, which you were quite happy about, weren't you?
Oh yeah, because my army's more the standard Marines, isn't it? So.
And I've got the other cards actually that came with one of the starter set things. Yeah, Johnny Rockstar saying I'm more interested in the Inceptors with plasma weapons. I'm probably going to convert mine because I've got a bunch of Hell Blasters which I'm not really going to use. So I'm thinking of using the spare Inceptors I've got and converting my own plasma ones instead. But they're not released for the 29th either. Which is weird because normally they don't release the book, the Codex, until all of the models have been put out. These Reavers look nice though. Some nice new poses. We've got this, what do you call it? The gun with the grapple hook gun.
Hook, or something like that.
And there is some pictures with some like grav chutes on the back of them as well, or like Batman glidery bits that go on the backpacks. So they're going to be available. But I quite like them. I do like the Reavers. What I'm doing for my Black Dragons is I'm going to do all of my Reavers as the Dragon Claws, because the Black Dragons have got all their claws coming out of their arms and they get formed into a unit called the Dragon Claws. So I'm thinking, as fitting as I can get, the Reavers are looking like the most close combat unit. So I'm going to do them as my Dragon Claws. So I'm going to convert all of them. Instead of having these weapons that they've got, I'm going to give them all blades, and I've already made a bunch of blades, and I might even get rid of a lot of the pistols and just leave them with the holsters so that they can have 2 claws and end up looking like Wolverine. So that's my idea.
Did you decide what you were going to do as far as their shin goes on them Reavers?
I don't know. The more I look at them, the more I don't mind it. I'm going to see how much work it is green stuff in that gap between there, because to try and remove them looking like they're wearing shoes. If it's too much effort, then I'll just not bother. We'll have to see.
Mm-hmm.
Grapple guns, grav shoot wings on those Reavers, yeah, they're really nice. And then the last picture, so this is the stuff that hasn't been announced yet. It's a bit of a zoomed out picture, but you can see it all over the web. There's a chaplain, which Johnny Rockstar loves, and I absolutely love. There's an apothecary, which is quite nice. I don't think it's as cool as the chaplain, in my opinion, but it's another model, an apothecary. And obviously we've got the tank on the way as well, the repulsor tank. Matthew Lawler saying, love the Primaris Librarian, already started building a Primaris army, now I've got to fork out more cash for that Redemptor and those Reavers. Yes, it is going to be expensive. So I'm going to get one of everything for now. So I'm going to get one Dread, one 10-man squad of Reavers, because I've already got 6 of them, the easy build ones. One unit of 3 aggressors, and then the Codex and the cards and things like that. But yeah, that's cool. All in all, pretty nice. Anyway, let's get rid of that one. Next we have somebody's trying to join the community group. See, Akai is going to have to do YouTube and Facebook at the same time. Actually, Brain Spider will be on that in a second. Which one will do it first? Are those Primaris Devastators in the background? I don't think they were. It's gone now.
No, I think I looked at that. I think they're normal Marines.
Normal Devastators.
Normal Devastator squad. Because that caught my eye when I was looking. I was like, ooh. But no, I think it's the standard Marines.
Yeah. Next, we'll look at the chapter focus. So there has been leaks from the Codex again, and this one, I'll tell you what, we'll go through those first on my phone. So we've got some chapter tactics. Right, so Iron Hands. Now, some of these aren't as good as others, I don't think. Well, they all are good, actually. They're all good in their own situation. So the Iron Hands, they basically get to, whenever they lose a wound, whenever an Iron Hand model loses a wound, on a 6 you ignore it and the model doesn't lose a wound. So that's pretty good. It's like disgustingly resilient.
Is that mortal wounds as well?
Yeah, just says loses a wound. So that would be, because when you take a mortal wound or a normal wound, you're losing a wound. So you get to roll the 6 against that. It's like disgustingly resilient, but only on a 6 rather than the 5 and the 6. Salamanders, and I quite like theirs, is you can re-roll a single failed hit roll and a single failed wound roll for any Salamanders unit each time it shoots or fights, which I think is pretty decent. That's a good rule, because each individual unit would be lieutenants, ancients. You've got small character units, which then get a re-roll failed hit and a single failed wound roll each time it shoots or fights. So, it's one or the other in it, shooting or fighting, but you get 2 re-rolls basically, which is nice. Black Templars, they can re-roll failed charge rolls, which is, again, the time where you fail your charge, you're going to want that. But I think there's some of the others, like the next one, White Scars, is just insane. So the White Scars, which is what we've got up on screen here, whenever a White Scar, so the first bit is whenever a White Scars unit with this tactic advances, it moves an extra 2 inches in addition to the distance rolled. So yeah, it's quite good. They're faster. If you've got a biker unit with a turbo boost ability, they can move 8 additional inches when advancing, which again is quite fast as well. The final bit, why has it gone off? So the last bit, which is this just beats the other ones for me. In addition, White Scar units with this tactic can still charge in a turn in which they fell back, which I think Ultramarines has got a very good one, which is close. But this just allows you to charge an enemy unit, fight them for a round, take a round of fighting from them in their turn, and then in your turn, retreat, and then charge back in and get the initiative again for charging. It also allows, if somebody charges you, you do the fighting, and then in your turn, you retreat and then charge back in again and get the bonus. So
but there's a downside to that, though. Is if they're recharging again, that means they get to be overwatched again.
Yeah, it does. That's the only downside. The Reavers, though, have got what they call shock grenades. So the shock grenades mean that if I think you cause 1 hit or 1 wound on an enemy unit, they can't overwatch. Actually, I think it was on here. Hold on, somewhere in here. There we go. This is going to be deadly with Reavers, who, as we've mentioned in their Tactica, can use shock grenades to prevent enemies from firing Overwatch. Oh, it doesn't say how, but yeah, you can with the Reavers in particular, you could do that.
Yep.
What else is there? So Raven Guard. What else have we got? Ryan's saying some of them are meh. Brain Spider saying, I love all the Primaris stuff coming out. Anyone want to donate money to me? I accept anything, including kidneys, for me to resell. Armor Freak saying the Raven Guard one is pretty amazing, so we'll go through that one. The Black Templars one is meh. I quite like it. It's good. I just think the other ones are superior, I think. And Ryan's saying they could have done with rerolls in the fight phase or something more. Yeah, could have been. But we don't know what else they've got. They might have better chapter tactics, not chapter tactics, relics. Or what are they called? What are they called, Mike?
I don't know.
Stratagems. They might have better stratagems.
Yeah. Well, this is going to be the interesting thing when the Codex comes out, is seeing everything that's in there.
Nick saying, kind of disappointed with the Fists tactic. I don't think it's too bad. I think the reason why it's not... Sam, check out the choosing chapter tactics for successor chapters on Warhammer community page. Mentions Black Dragons. Yeah, I think somebody sent me that, saying that you can basically choose whatever successor, whichever one you want. But they're saying that the Black Templars suit them because they're combat based. But I think I think Raven Guard suit them better, or White Scars, or Black Templars. I think any of the combat ones suit the Black Dragons. Fists. So Zach Daniels saying, I think the Fists got the best tactic, Salamander's got the worst. See, I quite like the Salamanders. So there's mixed opinions anyway. Paul Davidson saying, have 2 units in combat, have a tankier unit stay in combat to absorb the hits, and then recharge with your damage units, and there's no overwatch. So again, another tactic. You just keep doing that.
Well, this is going to be the thing. This is where it's fun with the new 40k, that you're trying to, a lot like Sigma, you're trying to combine units' abilities together and all that sort of thing to have devastating effects.
Yeah, which is the way it should be. So Raven Guard, if you're more than 12 inches away from a Raven Guard unit and you're shooting at them, you basically subtract from 1 from your hit rolls. And Armor Freak saying that if you overcharge or supercharge plasma at them more than 12 inches away, then you overheat on a 2 as well as a 1, unless they errata it. But yeah, don't shoot plasma at Raven Guard unless you're at point blank. What else do we have? So the last 2, we've got Imperial Fists. So they have enemy units do not receive the benefit to their saving throws for being in cover against attacks made by the Imperial Fists. In addition, you can reroll any failed wound rolls for Imperial Fist units when they are targeting a building. So depending on whether buildings are going to be big in your local area or at tournaments or friends, if you've got somebody who always brings a building, will depend whether that tactic is going to be useful. However, being able to ignore the benefit of cover is quite big, especially if they bring out cover later on, which is going to have some more benefits to it. Because at the minute, you were saying, Mike, it's difficult to get a full unit into the base of cover.
Yeah, see, it's a good ability to have, the fact that you're going to ignore cover, but the downside with that is that what we found from the games that we've played is a lot of the time you're not in cover.
Yeah.
Or there's not really cover available because you've got to have the entire unit on there. So in our games, there wouldn't really be any bonus to it. Not so far, anyway.
Unless we change the cover, we build different scenery that's got bigger footprints that you can then step into. It might be that scenery will change. And maybe Games Workshop will bring out more scenery which works better for 40k. You don't know. So at the minute, with the scenery we've got, the Imperial Fists doesn't seem to be that powerful. But depending on what you have as scenery and what you class as cover, it could be completely different. But that's so variable that I think it's not as powerful again as some of the others that you've got.
Yeah.
Anyway, the last one, Ultramarines, which I think is on par with White Scars, because White Scars out of all of these seem to be my favourite, even discounting the extra movement from the advancing. I'd say White Scars is the best for me. Raven Guard would probably be second up. In terms of my Black Dragons, I wouldn't choose the Ultramarines one for Black Dragons because that makes no sense. So they get +1 to leadership characteristic of all Ultramarines. And in addition, Ultramarines units with this tactic can still shoot in a turn in which they fall back. But you subtract 1 from their hit rolls in the shooting phase. So again, that's a pretty good one. Especially if you're
that
army.
was the thing when we were discussing it earlier, is that works because mine is, it's all shooting. I think bar Gilliman, I think everything I want to be staying at range and shooting. So if I get dragged into combat, having the ability to fall back, albeit taking that minus penalty for being able to shoot, it's a bonus. It worked in my favour for the way my army is designed at the minute.
See, if I ended up doing Black Dragons with the White Scar tactics and I fought you with your Ultramarines, I would be like, oh yeah, I jumped out of combat, and then you'd just be like, yeah. And then in your turn, you just back away from combat and just blow me to hell.
Yeah.
So again, that's the variable. If you're playing against somebody who has Ultramarines or a very shooty-based army, then it's going to be difficult to use some of these tactics. What have we got? What's all this about that Space Marine flyer that apparently everyone is spamming? Storm Talon or Storm Raven, both big. see what people say in a minute about that. Vandus is saying depends on the terrain features. Being able to ignore cover can be big, especially if you get that +1 to cover versus your AP -1 guns. Yeah, it can be, and I think that's the thing. It's variable, but it could be insanely good. Armour Freak saying with how much deadlier everything has become in 8th, I think you need to start playing with terrain dense boards. And Nick saying with regards to scenery, we could see the return of proper forested game boards again. Yes, I think yes to all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So the last thing I've got on my phone actually, which is the community page talking about the Black Dragons, it says, and I'm kind of happy, but I'm also a little bit gutted that they've chucked Black Dragons in at the front because I picked them because nobody did them, and they were a chapter that weren't, you didn't see them, did you? But lo and behold, today, Warhammer community just go, the Black Dragons are one of the most shadowy chapters in the 41st millennium, rumoured to use brutal, osseous blades that spring from their forearms to devastate their foes in close combat. Yes, they are awesome, they are Wolverine. For these guys, the Black Templar chapter tactics with their rerolls to charges seem like a natural pick. So I think they're saying it's a natural pick, whether that is the way that it goes. I think you can choose whatever chapter tactics you want, but you pick something that's right. So I wouldn't pick Ultramarines or Imperial Fists chapter tactics for my Black Dragons. However, they are because they have no guaranteed parent founding chapter. Nobody knows which one they came from. It was rumoured to be Salamanders, but I think I could just pick anything I want, which is good. Warhammer Stormraven spam with Gilliman. Okay, that's the nasty one apparently. Vandus is saying Warhammer 8th edition is nasty on shooting and really devastating. I think that yes. Abundant terrain, yeah. Remember that you can stop people falling back by surrounding them. Tactics, bros. Actually, the fist tactics work very well against Horde armies, yeah. And stop people from falling back by being a Dark Eldar Witch too, yes. And Kablams knows very, very well about Dark Eldar tactics, although he does tend to stick to the homunculus, the spliced stuff. Okay, so I'm so out of it. I didn't even notice there's no paint behind Sam. Ah, Surreal, I feel so sorry for you. I genuinely look. You know what, Surreal? Just for you, we're going to put things back to normal. Everyone's going to bear with me now. Squeaky, squeaky, squeaky. That's viewing at its best. There you go, Surreal. The paints are there. Alright, what are we doing next? So we've done Raven Guard. Let's have a look at the chat. Is there anything else? Sam, GW must be watching you and your Black Dragons plans and decided to mention them. My Gilded Lions will probably use the Ultramarines tactics though. I did say to Mike that. I said somebody at GW, I don't know whether it's Rory, our old friend from the store who knows that I'm doing Black Dragons, maybe he's just said, put this on the community page because I know it'll annoy Sam, so stick it on there. It could be Rory, or it could just be random chance. Brian Harris is saying, so if you want to play Dark Angels, you should basically wait for the chapter-specific codex. Yes. However, for now, you can use the rules which are in the index. So you use the index rules, and then when the Dark Angel Codex comes out, you buy that one. Same as the, was it Space Wolves, Grey Knights, Blood Angels?
Blood Angels.
Yeah, so all of those should be getting their own codexes. Lord of them Decaladai says, what heresy is this? Quick, Mike, now is your chance. Mike, you need to take over the chat one day.
I'll have to give it a go at some point.
It's not even like I don't let you, is it? It's I'm more than happily let you do a solo show, but I'm going to stay quiet for a bit. Do you want to get your Xbox up so you can read the chat?
I wouldn't risk it with my internet, no.
Not today. We'll just get Mike over here. What Surreal says, what happens if Mike rolls up the wall behind him? You don't want to know what's behind that wall. Okay, cool. Right, what else have we got to talk about then? So there was Path to Glory. We can also look at some stuff about tanks. What do people want to do next? We have, let's delete that bit. So the choices are we can do the Path to Glory thing on Warhammer Community, or we can have a look at Warlord Games' website, or we can have a look at some cool camouflage, or we can do some questions. I'm going to leave this to the audience today now. What do you want? Other than Mike's solo show, because he's unwilling to do it tonight. But anything else is available. Cyril says, is that where he hides the strippers? Yes. Living and dead.
Yeah, they're always just off screen.
Oh, it's where he hides his pollen and baby oil. It's supposed to be family friendly. But... and then Brain Spider just comes in with Mike keeps his dead bodies behind that wall. They're not his dead bodies. It could be a wall of nothing but alligator clips, Vaseline and car batteries. Okay, I think we need to just move on. So Sean Jewett saying Warlord Games would be cool. Well, let's roll with that. So let's have a look at Warlord Games. There's so much on their website as well. Warlord Games. What are we doing this week anyway, Mike? What have we got planned?
This week? Chronicles we're still working on at the minute, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting there with the Ultramarines. There's still quite a considerable amount to go. But as each day is going by, there's that extra stage has been done and they're getting closer. You've still got Rachel's Custodians to finish, haven't you?
Yeah, so I did actually finish the 20 Custodian Guard. Pretty happy about that. Oh yeah, we'll do Chronicles, the Facebook group. We'll do that as well.
Yeah.
I'd finished the 20 Custodian Guard except for the bases because I did the bases on Friday on the live stream. I did all of the dry brushing, the washing, and I painted all the rims black and stuff afterwards as well. And as I was doing the final wash, the sand literally fell off the base. And I was so annoyed because I'd done everything else beforehand. And the only thing I can think of is the PVA glue was really... I mean, it's been years since I bought some new PVA glue. So that glue's probably 15 years old. And I think it's dead.
Oh, if the glue's that old, then yeah. But then have you been using that on like the Seraphon and stuff like that you've done?
No.
Was that the same glue used then?
The Seraphon I've been using, Phil made a load of resin bases. He built a load of bases and then cast them himself.
Oh, yeah.
And normally I just use cork and a bit of sand, so it's not an issue. But these ones just fell apart. It's the first time I've just done a sand base, and it was almost the last after that night.
I can imagine.
So I finished the last face for the Custodians last night. Once the rest of my basing materials, because I bought this stuff. I've got Gorilla Glue in super glue and it's amazing. So I bought a litre of Gorilla Glue in PVA form. So when the rest of my new sand turns up and some bark that I've ordered, I'll be doing those. No, don't you start as well, Stewie. So left for the Custodians is 2 Contemptor Dreadnoughts, 3 Primaris Psychers, I think they're called, from the what they called Astra Telepathica, Astra Militarum Psychery dudes. And
you sounded like you were doing a me for a second.
I was, yeah. Two assassins, 2 Vindicator assassins, and a Land Raider, and that's over 2,000 points of Custodians done. So that's Rachel's army done, and then I'm starting my Primaris Marines after that. So that's what I'll be working on. However, I've got to finish this battle report, which will probably not be finished until afternoon tomorrow now, depending on how much I stay up through the night. I'm trying to go to bed before 4 or 5 in the morning, so that probably won't get done tonight. And then I've also got a premium painting tutorial, the one of Phil. So the Ogre Phil model, I've done a full tutorial on painting that, and there's some really nice stuff on it on how to paint the black armour, the red, the white vest, the skin tone, and I didn't film the logo that I painted, but the whole model is available on there. So I've got to edit that and put that up on Friday, ready for Friday if I can. Red Cuffs has joined us, ahoy, he says, and Sean Dewitt's saying, I think you guys will have a blast painting the Warlord World War II models, much less time consuming than GW. I think they will because, like you were saying, Mike, it's a different type of paint job, isn't it?
Yeah. It's definitely going to be an interesting one. Although I'm quite sure me and you'll probably find it. Well, especially me, will find ways to make it difficult and long-winded, though. To be honest.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to it because, like we were talking about earlier, it's going to be a different way of painting things.
Yeah, most definitely. I think I'm not going to edge highlight anything. Maybe just like pouches on stuff, and that'll be it. And the faces, I'll paint properly. Maybe. Other than that, it's going to be weathering and washes just to get them done.
Yeah.
Stalker's saying they look great, Sam. The blades really stand out and the different skin tones. Thank you, Stalker. I quite liked him. Scott Beale's saying I want Guard to get some fancy new hover tanks, converting the Fenris Wolves to mounts for my Rough Riders. That's a good idea, Scott. I don't think I've seen many Rough Riders converted from Wolf Riders. Anyway, so let's have a look at Warlord Games. So me and Mike are all of us at Wargamer Online are new to this. And it was quite confusing at first because there's all the different theatres. Welcome, Devon. Off Felix. So let's say I'm playing Germans at the minute, maybe Americans by the end of the night. So I click on all Germans. Let's open that in a new tab. Okay. And then on here. So the one thing I do really like from Warlord as well is the army building stuff. I think you do save money. You know, like the GW ones are
the
bundles. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you do save money on these, and they give you the points as well, which is quite nice. So this one's like for £90, it gives you a suggested army list, and I think it comes to about 1,000 points. Normally these do, but the actual miniatures inside here, you get in a tank. You get in. I think that's probably a light tank. I don't know. Somebody should tell me what that is. Artillery type weapon thing. 2 heavy weapons, it looks like. And then you've got 3 10-man squads and then a command squad. So that was the other thing I quite liked. Ugh, I have to keep moving because my back's killing me, not as much as Phil's. Ow. Right. Army building in bolt action seems really good because you don't seem to have any spam. You don't have nasty lists. You have stuff that makes sense and was historically correct. So the way that you start building an army list, I think what were they called? Divisions? No, they weren't divisions. That's the big one. What were they called? Anyway, they've got a name. And in that in that detachment, you start off with generally 3 10-man squads. You have a command unit, and then you can add up to 1 of certain other things. So you're allowed normally up to 1 flamethrower team, 1 sniper, 1 mortar, 1 something else, up to 1 heavy tank, 1 light tank, and then you're allowed.
Is that all depending on how many points you play, or?
No, that's up to. That's just what you're allowed in that detachment for 1,000 points. But then obviously you can't fit all that in. So some heavy tanks are like 500 points. I think Steve was saying the Tiger's like 500 points. And the infantry platoon, yeah, it might be a reinforcement platoon. I think that's what it was called actually. So you might spend 500 points on a Tiger, and then you spend 300 points on your 3 10-man squads, and then you've only got room left for your command. So for 1,000 points, you don't have a lot if you take a big tank like a Tiger. Yeah, so it is platoons. It does tell you as well, because you can do bigger armies. I think the Company was the one where they said there was the biggest that you generally play in bolt action, and I think that was around 2,000 points. So that's a Company. And then it goes on afterwards, so you can play massive games. They've got the names and they tell you what you can include in that. But I quite like how it tells you as well, like this forward observers, and it says, generally you wouldn't have many of these. So although it says 0 to 1, just think about it, whether you'd have it or not in that theatre or in that engagement, whether you would use it. And I think the same was with the tanks. For the Battle of the Bulge, you generally didn't have many tanks at all. They were extremely rare. So, and the other thing was they were saying that armour in World War II was rare anyway. You wouldn't see the number of tanks that you see in bolt action in World War II. You'd have one maybe every now and again that would pop up as support, or you'd have a tank company off fighting other tank companies. So, and they've said in their rules that it would be boring if you didn't have big guns and tanks. So they'd say, obviously, it's not historically correct, but it's definitely more fun having more tanks.
Yeah.
So I quite like that. Scott saying to get the rules down, it's not important to get the theatre right, just get comfortable with the rules. That's fair enough. I think that's what we've decided to do. Steve said exactly the same at Rubicon. He said just get the models you've got, build and paint them, and play games. And I think that's what we're going to do. And then later on, as we learn more, we can then focus on getting it right. So if you watch any of our stuff and it's not historically correct, let us know. But just be aware that we don't know what we're doing, and we're going to do our best, and we're learning as we go along. So that's what's going to happen. I do like the miniatures though, and the sprues are full. We did the unboxing, didn't we? And there's tons of little bits and ammo clips and guns on them as well. The Germans,
it looked like there was quite a lot of different options that you could have.
What have we got for the Americans? Actually, let's have a look at some of the German tanks before we go off these. Where are you? Tanks and the tank destroyers. Oh, the tank destroyers are amazing. Michael Whitman Ironjaw. What an awesome name. Tanks in Battle of the Bulge weren't rare, at least for the Germans. Oh, okay. Well, I was reading the Battle of the Bulge campaign book and it said that they're really rare and they didn't use them. Unless I just read that for the American side. Or it might have been a different period. Once the Germans got pushed back, they didn't have many tanks left or something, I don't know. Tigers. So these things are amazing. What was the other one? Oh, that's nice. I like the winter outfits that they've all got. Uniform, camouflage, whatever it's called. Here we go. This is it. The Jag Tiger. And this, the Nashorn. Nashorn? Oh god, there's tons of stuff here. Okay. So this thing's cool. I'm just looking forward to doing all of the different camouflage. I'm going to pop round Phil's, ask permission to use his airbrush, and then just do some really cool stuff on them. Oh wow. And that is one of the coolest looking tank destroyers. It's like a basilisk, Mike. And it's like an Astra Militarum basilisk with the gun pointed down with a mount holding it up. You're just shooting it at a tank. Yeah, forget artillery, just shoot anything with that. So lots of tanks, apparently the Battle of Kursk. I've got a paint, and I don't know if anybody else has heard this before from me, but it's an AK Interactive wash called Summer Kursk Earth, and that's my favourite wash for doing bases. I've used that on everything. Apart from the bases from last week that got ruined, so that's probably why. Akai is saying, when watching the WGO Bolt action games, just keep an eye out in case Rachel tries to sneak a Fellblade onto the board. Rachel's not going to play Bolt action. She's not interested at the minute in the slightest in World War II games, so she's going to stick to playing 40k and Age of Sigmar, which is fair enough. Can't force her to play games. Armour Freak. Well, the Germans did have a lot of tanks in the Battle of the Bulge until fuel became a problem. Germans had more tanks than fuel in the Bulge. Oh, okay. Maybe I read that Tigers and Tiger 2s were rare. See, this is instantly, I'm like, there's no tanks in the Battle of the Bulge. I mean, was the Battle of the Bulge bigger than just the forest bit where Band of Brothers was on about? Because I'm sure the bit where I was reading about Captain Winters and the Germans being in that town, I think it might have been a scenario or something where they were saying they didn't have tanks. I just say Battle of the Bulge, and I'm thinking of that forest scenario is the Battle of the Bulge, but it probably is much bigger than that. The Battle of the Bulge was the last try to stop the Allied offensive, and the Germans threw everything they had into the battle, all the armour they could muster. And it's pronounced Jagdtiger. Even the names sound cool. They lost the battle because the Allies had air superiority when the weather cleared, and because they had overstretched their supply lines for the armour. Interesting. Brain Spider. Remember, if Rachel cheats this month, I won't be painting the Riot Gear Glen booster for The Walking Dead for her to play with. I don't think she cheats on purpose anyway. Did she cheat against you, Mike?
I don't think so, no. I don't think there's anything like that.
Fair enough. The hairy painted tigers are rare, as most broken down. That's fair enough. Stew Rat, it was a touch bigger than Easy Company. Oh, okay. There you go then. So this is where I'm getting confused, Stew Rat. I told you I don't know my history. I watch films and TV series and get 10% of the story. Right, let's have a look at some USA. What have we got over here? Let's have a look at the tanks first because they're the coolest things. Oh, why has it done that? Why would you do that? Tanks, there we go. I do like the Sherman tanks for the Americans. They're quite cool, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Sherman Jumbo.
I can't remember. There was one of them. I was looking at yesterday. I can't remember what it's called now. There's a lot of tanks, is what I found.
I've got some sandbags. Oh. The Sherman's really nice, Mike.
I am not swapping.
Oh. The Hellcat's really nice as well. This is the problem. We did the conflict unboxing and I didn't even know what to play then either. There's just too much cool stuff. Watch the movie Patton. There's a movie about it, Battle of the Bulge, with Henry Fonda, Robert Shaw. Okay, that's another one for me to watch. I've got so many films to watch.
Yeah, I think there's going to be quite a lot for us.
What else have we got? Marine Corps, Airborne. So it'd be the Airborne that I'd do. 1,000 point. See, Steve was saying do mid to late war. So I was like, would do that. But I quite like the D-Day stuff as well. That's quite cool. Okay. Right. So we've had a good look on there. We could probably keep looking for hours actually on that website because there's so many things. And they obviously don't just do bolt action. They've got black powder, pike and shot. I'd love to do Hail Caesar one day.
See, I didn't click on that yesterday when I was going through. But there's quite a lot of stuff on there.
Quite like all of the Roman stuff. I can't start another army yet. I've got too much to do. How much is the Conflict 47 starter set? It was £85, I think. But it also, the reason why the Conflict 47 stuff was such a good purchase was what you got in it, wasn't it?
Yeah. But there was, I think you had it might have been like 2 units in each box that you wouldn't better use for normal bolt action. But all the standard stuff, and even the tanks, because they have the 2 options. So you got the option then for whatever turrets on top that would use for Conflict 47, but then you had the normal turret for the top as well.
Oh, check this out.
So you were basically getting a tank, at least 1 infantry unit.
Oh no,
maybe
you
even
get
2
loads.
as well. So.
The German one is you get the spidery crab walkery thing. You get, I think it's a Panzer in there or a Tiger. With the alternate turret, and then you get 3 10-man squads, and you get the zombies. So the 3 10-man squads you'll use in bolt action, and then the tank you'll use in bolt action. So the only thing out of this box you won't use is the spider tank and the zombies. But for £85, you're making, I think the tank's free and maybe a bit more, so it's not a bad thing. Apparently, D-Day is classed as late war. See, this is my knowledge. I thought D-Day landings was like the first bit where they just basically landed and went, all right. Okay, so we can do the D-Day landings then, Mike. So we could do, we can do all of that. Thordlam saying you can choose different armies for different theatres. We could, yes. So I could do the Americans at some point, and you can do the Germans at some point, Mike. You really don't want to do Germans, do you?
No.
Oh, Mike.
It's because we've kept swapping, and it's difficult to keep up.
We haven't swapped yet. I've been Germans from the start. It was only the Russians, actually.
Well, no, because
that was
there was the Russians and the Germans, and that to start with.
Yeah.
Well, no. Right, no. I'm just thought. Originally, you went Americans. Then decided you wanted to go Germans. So
this was conflict, though. This was conflict. In bolt action, I've not changed.
Even so, it's still swapping though. And
It's
then
not.
you said no, you want to go Russians.
That's like saying
I'll go Germans.
That's like saying I swapped in Age of Sigmar, and then so I can't swap in 40k. That's just stupid logic.
No, because we were going to be using most of the models anyway.
Ralph, the war started in 1939
when you're around.
and ended in 1945. D-Day was 1944. Don't let Sam bully you into Germans. To be fair, I am just going to be buying you infantry, aren't I? And saying paint these, Mike. So you're not doing bad. Armor Freak. Hey, they kind of fixed that when they improved ammo storage. Kinda. Hairy Painter Sherman equals a Tommy Cooker. I don't know what that means. Just play Axis and Allies, says Surreal. Mike can do the Italians. There you go, Mike. You can do Italians. Are there even Italians on here? Italy, there is. Oh, wow, Mike. You can do all Italian. Let's see what you can get. Build an army. Oh, you know what? They don't look that bad. I think I've got this right. Didn't the Italians side with Germany? Let me try and get this right. Let me look at the armies and I'll tell you which ones I think sided with who. I think Italy, Japan, and Germany must have gone on the one side. I'm sure Germany attacked Russia, Soviets, as well, because that was the whole. What was that film? Enemy at the Gates. That was an amazing film. If that was World War II, probably World War I for all I know. But that was a cool film, and that was Germans, I think, versus Russians. It had a really cool name as well, Soviet. Yeah, Italy, German, and Japan. There you go. I got that right. So I'm not completely useful. This is painful. Sam needs to read a book. Yeah, I do, Stu-Rat. That's why I've asked for books on history. The problem is
this is why I'm keeping quiet on any knowledge that I have of it.
Because you probably know less than me, don't you?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Sam, you really need a history lesson. This is why I've never bothered with history games or anything, because I don't know history. And you know what, everyone? I'm trying. I'm actually reading up on history and I'm trying to learn as much as possible. And I'm happy I got Italy, Germany, and Japan right, because that's pretty good. Enemy at the Gates, Battle of Stalingrad. Enemy at the Gates was World War II. Stalingrad. That was the name that I quite like. See, that was right as well. So there's some information that I don't know, like that the D-Day landings were the late war. World War II equals Poland. Poland beat France. France bombed England. What? America handled it. See, I think didn't Germany invade Poland and then Russia invaded Poland as well, and they both fought over Poland, and then they went into France. I just didn't know the times. That was it. That's why I'm rubbish at it. 7 Shermans to 1 Tiger was the ratio. Yeah. Right. I think I've had enough of a bashing on my history today. Don't know why I try to go back to flipping sci-fi. I'm going to paint my tanks in Imperial Fist colours. I'm going to play Imperial Fists in World War II. Matthew Shannon, welcome. The Sherman also had the problem of being gasoline powered instead of diesel, which is more volatile. Germany tried to invade Russia and froze to death. They didn't fight over Poland. Didn't Russia have half or a part of Poland at the same time as Germany having part of Poland. Oh my god, I'm going to stop. I'm just going to read. Britain and France declared war over Poland. Okay, now we're getting so much information here. Now on alliance was American, UK, Russia, and a Free France army, Canada, Austria, and a few other countries. All German tanks with petrol as well. Ralph Hummel did A-level history and lost my grandfather in Normandy, so just feel free to ask. Okay, sorry to hear about your grandfather, but any information would be awesome, so I actually don't ruin knowledge. Johnny Rockstar, Germany had a non-aggression pact with Russia over Poland, which the Germans then broke and brought the Russians in on the side of the Allies. Right, okay. And Iron Sky, the movie, is not historically accurate, just for your information. The German... Okay. An armor freak is saying, are you trying to tell me there are no Nazis on the moon? Freak supports your bolt action army choice. Hey, Freak. Okay, so I was right. Germany and Russia both controlled parts of Poland, but they didn't fight over Poland. They met earlier and decided they would divide it up. There we go. It's up there somewhere. Some information is there. It's just not correct. It's not 100%. Oh, Simon is turned up as well. Welcome, Simony. And France surrendered within a few weeks. Rust Belt Blacksmith. Don't worry, Sam. It's a matter of interest. Many of us love history. Many of us do not. It's a matter of taste. Everyone can't know everything. Yeah. Remington Fox would believe anything said here. Read books and wiki. And then Big Rich is saying we're giving a history lesson. This is learning history with Sam. Yeah. I learned most of my history through films and TV series, so you can see how bad that is. And don't do that. Right, let's go through Wargamer Online Chronicles on Facebook. And we'll see what's gone up. Again, I apologise if we don't go through everybody's. We will go through whatever we go through. Don't forget when Australia invaded Russia and managed to hold Moscow for a year. Ralph almost said it took the Germans 6 weeks to have France surrender, and then Harry Payne says weeks. Was it not days? It's pretty bad if it was days. I'm sure I read something that... Was it hours or something, Mike?
Was what hours?
There was a campaign that lasted a few hours. It was either a few hours or a few days. And it was like the shortest campaign in history.
No idea.
Something. It was the Germans attacking somebody, I'm sure. Again, let us know what that was. The shortest campaign, or one of the shortest campaigns in World War II. I think it was the shortest. Anyway. Chronicles. Robbie Cohen. Unfortunately, I only teach World War II politics and modern, so I can't help you with the battles. Well, you still know more information than me, Robbie. Marcus Hackmeister says Fury was a crap film. Fair enough. I actually really liked Fury, to be honest, so... I think it's each to their own. It probably wasn't historically correct, but there was a lot of explosions, and I quite like Michael Bay's explosion films. So I don't think Fury was made by Michael Bay, but it may as well have been. There's enough explosions going on. Holland. Okay, Harry Payne says that was Holland. Remington saying history is written by the conquerors and the winners. Right, let's do this. So Tim Lawrence, working on the rest of my WGO Chronicles. Got some, I think they're the Dark Angels he's been working on. Doing some good progress on those. Ralph saying, might go to the cinema and watch Dunkirk, coming out next week. That's the movie about the British Expeditionary Force being extracted from France, all 300,000 of them. Yeah, I want to go watch that. We'll watch that, Mike.
Fair enough.
Remington says Fury is a great film as well. Well, at least 2 of us liked it, Remington. James Jones, Death Leaper, 4 PowerPoints now, and nearly now at 31 PowerPoints. That's pretty good. Aiming for the 50. And a nice snow colour scheme. That's really cool. Germans attacking my bratwurst and beer on Independence Day. Shortest campaign ever. Okay. Paul Elston. So this is Ulster Nation. A lot of troops and a lot of bases. So this man is just a machine. And you can't even zoom in because that's an army there. It's just not a small army, it's a huge army. And there's a huge army's worth of bases. If there's anybody who knows how to build things in masses, it's Ulster Nation. Ridiculous. Ridiculously good. We've got Kablams, so he's been magnetising as he always does, magnetising and making little bits and everything. And he started painting. So that's all of his talus. Talus are they called, I think? Simon, he says, oh great, just realised I forgot to put a hashtag on my picture this week. Okay, Simon, there's always one. Do it now. No, tag me into it and it'll pop up and then I can have a look before the end. Ryan saying, crap, forgot to put my Black Templar Intercessor squad up. Ralph saying, need to throw up one of my Blood Angel squads. Right, you've all got 5 minutes to post it and tag me in it. Sean's getting on with his Raven Guard. Cracking on with all of them. Big Rich, I'll be posting my picture in a few days on my Progress of Dark Angel Army. Just want to finish the one I'm doing. That's cool. Mike's done some progress on his. You've finished all your base colours now, haven't you?
Almost. There's a couple of bits to do on Gilliman's backpack, but other than that, I think it's all base colours. Well, the 2 tactical squads I've still got to do washes on, and there's a few more bits of washes to do on Gilliman. And then it's on to just highlighting bases to do, the weathering bit, and transfers. So getting there.
Simon, he just put we suck, but I don't think I tagged my own. In terms of who sucks. I set this up and I failed mine. Oh, it's just popped up. What's that? That went straight to the top. So these are Brain Spiders, Cataphracti. These are the Gilded Lions. I think he said he didn't like those, did you, Brain Spider? You weren't getting on with painting them. Armour Freak will remind people to get their posts up during the tailgate party next week. I think the pre-chat party that seems to be going off every chat now is awesome. Surreal. Wow, Mike has almost the exact same name as my friend who's a bank robber.
Amazing.
Sam, you missed my Cataphracti, so I tagged you. Thank you. I didn't miss them now. Nick Davidson saying, currently dying from a summer cold, so anything mini-based is taking forever. Can't risk sneezing while painting. I can understand that. Marcus, I think it would have been a Goop Fairman Tiger in Fury. Not sure. Would pronounce that completely wrong. Johnny Rockstar's hit a major roadblock on his Harlequins. There's a lot of patterns I can understand. So Frank Storm primed all of his stuff. I thought these were primed grey, but he said no, they were black. It was just the light that made them look grey. That's a lot of models there. More from Sean, Raven Guard. Every week he does a chunk on his models. With all the freehand Raven Guard symbols as well. Cracking. Doug's are really nice as well. I love his Mantis Warriors. So much detail on them. Cyril saying, don't believe me, Google Michael Thomas, Miller, Cincinnati. It's not that I don't believe you. Mike's just changed his name slightly and come over to the UK and got a different accent, so can't prove anything, Surreal. We saw this last week. I don't know why tagging doesn't seem to be working. That was that cool conversion from last week. Frank Storm got a little work to do, so that's the Mechanica, so we've seen them prime now. There's Stalkers, Space Wars. We saw these last week though. I'm sure there's been a lot more since. I'm wondering if tagging is not working. James Wilson tagged you in a post. Oh, these are awesome. Mordheim Pit Fighter Crew. I don't think it qualifies for 40k Chronicles, but because they're so awesome, it qualifies. These are Astra Militarum games. I particularly love the photo of the Doom Bull versus the Dwarf Slayer. I can't zoom in anymore, which is a shame, but they're incredibly awesome models. So much variety there. A little dwarf versus the Doom Ball. That Doom Ball's a chunk of a model as well. If that's metal, I feel your pain. I know they've brought out a resin one, but I built a metal one, and that was such a pain to build. Rat Ogres. And then, I don't know what these models are. That one there with the sword looks really cool. And I don't know what the rest are. What's the correct tag for you? Just put @ and then my name. Rather than don't hashtag my name. I don't hashtag myself, but if you put @ it links me in, because that's how Facebook works apparently. I've tagged, yeah, holy moly, that Mordheim crew. So many. Can someone edit my posts? My demon host was tagged. So Sean Jewett, some recent work. What's going on? There's not a month that goes by with me not being asked to paint Modern Warfare stuff. It seems to be really picking up popularity. I'm going to look at it anyway. That looks really cool. There's a lot of cool stuff there. That guy looks like he's wearing a Pokemon trainer hat. It's surreal. My tag is #sandwich. Jim Wilson, yes, that Doom Ball is metal. Oh, I feel your pain. I built one and I was never going to build another one again after that. There we go. Got some tagging going on. So Ralph Hummels. More bolt action. He's hashtagged it as well. That's just the new hashtag. Just my name. Is he running around with a grenade, or is that a cup? See, we were debating on not using these bases. What do people think about us using 25mm GW bases instead of bolt action ones? Because I'm so used to having the almost trophy plinths. I don't know if I want.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want these flat ones. I don't know if there's something in bolt action that says you need to use them, or if I can just use the bigger ones. You have to let us know. Simon Minford. We looked at this last week. Yeah, this was an awesome model. I love it. I love the colour scheme as well. The pale skin tone, the red eyes, the black glossy horns, and the nice metallics. You've done a great job on that. It's Ash. Gonna catch 'em all, says Marcus. Big Rich looks like gladiators. Ralph Hummel, binoculars. Oh, the binoculars. Okay. Not a grenade. I was going to say, it doesn't look like he's going to throw it. I think it's because I can't zoom in. It's his schnapps. Here we go. There's some chronicles. Gold airbrush. I did see these. Gold airbrush paint has arrived. Highlighted my terrain with it and eventually got around to base coating these girls. I tried mascal on the weapons and cloth to preserve the pre-shade. You can see a before and after. They're really nice models. I've got 2 boxes of these to do. I was tempted to give one of them away on the Premium Plus on the website, but we haven't got Premium Plus up yet, so I might just give it away to a premium member. All 3 together. Gold's such a cool colour. They're really nice. Yeah, I need to definitely paint those. Dunleavin, Lavin. Wasn't this the old... This was the AOS... What was that one called? What was the last community event thing that we did?
I
forgot the hashtag.
Hang on, hang on. I'm going to try and get it. What was it?
I'm hanging. Stalker's off. See
it's
you later,
quite bad
Stalker.
Since it was the last one, and we can't.
There's been so much going on since then. Yeah. Is it possible to get packs of just bases from GW? Yes, you can. They even have themed bases. You can also do fancy bases that are not a bad deal. Premium Plus, says Brain Spider. We've had a lot of people. Obviously, last week we had a couple of donations. One from Patrick and one from Akaya. And the week before we had a few as well. And we're just getting messages from viewers asking if they can support us in more than just the £3 a month. So we said we're looking to doing a premium plus. So it might be £10 or £15 a month, but it'll be, we'll give a model away or we'll give some goodies away every 3 months. You'll get every premium plus member will get something back. And we haven't worked out yet, but we want to give away full boxes. So maybe like a 50 or 60 or £100 board game, and we'll either buy it or we'll get stuff that's been sent to us once we've unboxed it. If we're not going to use it, we can give it away on the Premium Plus. So anybody who's a member on there gets entered in, and we basically give one of those out once a month or once every 2 months, whatever we work out basically. So that was the Premium Plus idea. We haven't got a name for it yet, but that's something we were wanting to do.
Sigmar Showdown.
That was it.
Sorry,
Sigmar Showdown.
I suddenly remembered it.
Well done, Mike. You got it. But because we haven't got Premium Plus, we've just we've put the donations on instead. So the link's in the description for that instead for now. Because I don't know, Phil's obviously ill, so I don't know how long it's going to take for the next bracket of membership to go up on the website. And we just put the donations on instead. So what have we got? Ryan Benfield. So this is Black Templars pretty much done. Sorry for crap lighting. Not a problem. They look really, really good. Nice black and white. And Vaughan Killian, there we go. Everyone said, was it Sigmar Showdown? Sigmar Showdown, Sigmar Showdown. They remembered they all watched it. We just forgot, Mike.
I remembered though, just in time.
McEden's got his work on his Nurgle miniature. Really nice work. My mate Bill. That's even doing his bolt action as well. They look really cool. Scott Beale. If I want to subscribe to premium, can I just give a lump sum instead of every month? As in pay for the year for a premium membership, or pay in addition to the premium membership? Because the premium is £3 a month, and that's it. Or £2.99. That gives you access to all premium content. I don't think there is an annual membership way to pay for like the full year in one go yet. I'll write that. Akaya, can you send me a message, please, saying speak to Phil about annual subscriptions? See, Akaya is doing such a great job at moderating today. I'll ask Phil. I'll see if there's a way to do a annual payment in one go, and we'll see if we can knock some money off that as well. So if people pay in an annual method instead, you save some money. But if it's just in terms of paying more money on top, for now it is just the donations that we've got set up. I don't know what these bolt action models are because I can't remember seeing these, but they look really cool. I like this heavy weapon team here. They're all metal, it looks like. I don't know what they are. Need to find out. There's Sean's futurist, modern day stuff. Oh, I've got more World War II stuff. Oh, look at this. Neil's posted some. Akaya. Ask Phil about our annual WGO subscriptions. Akaya has become a glorified secretary for Sam. Don't make me die. Big Rich. Hey, I thought Akaya was the narrator. Scott Beale, pay for year all at once, thanks. Yes, okay, I'll look into it, Scott, and I will. I'll post it up on the page, the Facebook page, or the Facebook group, or I'll talk about it here whenever I find out, Scott. So we'll sort that out, and we'll try and do some sort of discount, and then anybody else who wants to do that can do the same, save some money. Akaya, moderator, narrator, secretary, all around talented guy. The more I look at bolt action, I said to Mike today, I'm tempted to just start the bolt action before I start the Primaris Marines, but I need to get a 40k army. I need to play 40k. T34 to 85. Is that the models? Those are the models? Hang on, if that's a name, let's see if we can find it on the website. What was it? T35 85. Oh, that's a tank. Oh, that's that tank. Oh, that tank's cool. Soviets. What is this? Oh, I found a new favourite tank. It's called a German Flampanzer. That thing's cool. Anyway, right, I think we're going to have to stop looking on there, otherwise we're going to go all night looking at tanks. I'm going to spend the rest of the evening looking at tanks. Brain Spider says, Sam, get your Primaris done. I will. Brain Spider also says, I just hope that Akaya gets treated better than the woman in the film Secretary. Haven't seen that film. Armfreak says 35, 85. The 85 denotes the barrel size. Ooh. There we go. More. I tell you what, everybody learns on these shows, don't they? It's like background noise for most people. Nonsense for most people. Really bad history for everybody from me. And then at the end, I learn stuff. Flamethrower, Flampanzer. That's amazing then. T34 85 is the best tank ever. I don't know. I mean, looks what it might be the best tank ever in terms of use or something, but I don't like the look of it compared to some of the other tanks. I quite like these ones with the big turrets on it. That Finnish one's nice. Like if I go down all these, Sam, you are like a kid in a candy store. I'm worse. I would just buy all of these tanks if I could. So I love that thing. Oh, hold on. I've not even got it up. I love that Flampanzer. The Soviet tank hunter's cool. I like the T626A M32. That thing is cool. I don't know what that Terminator Genesis thing is doing in there. Imagine having that in World War II. That would kill some stuff. Jagdpanzer 38, not Hetzer. Hetzer's gonna Hetz. Right, I'm gonna be here all night looking at tanks, like I say. Anyway, so that has been an interesting Tuesday night. I don't know whether we're going to... I think we may try Tuesdays more often. Like I say, every channel seems to be doing Wednesday night live shows now, so we might just do Tuesdays as often as we can. It also means that on a Wednesday evening we can film a battle report at the studio because on a Tuesday that's the club night, so we can't go on a Tuesday night. So Wednesdays now potentially will be a filming evening. We still had a good chunk of people, even though it's the first Tuesday. I think there was about 60 to 70 people at one point, so there's definitely some people around. Akaya is now interested by conflict. Ryan says Sam sees tank. Oh, that's cool. Tanks are amazing. Marcus is a tank nerd. Sorry, don't be sorry. I would like to know more. Would you like to know more? As they say in Starship Troopers. We're going to need some scenery as well. That's the other thing, Mike. On top of the bolt action armies, we're going to need proper scenery with bricks all over the floors.
Well, that's what we were looking at doing, is like building a board and getting sorting scenery and all that sort of thing. So I think it'd be quite a big project.
I bought 1,000 coffee stirrers today for £4 on eBay. Ready for our bunker. Well, not bunker, trenches. I'm going to look at building it. I don't do scenery. This is another thing. I'm going to learn how to do that as well. I'm going to build a trench with Mike, and we're going to do the little diggings and where they little dig holes and sit in it so they don't get blown up as easily. Will Monday Musings be changing time because of Game of Thrones? I'm not sure. I literally haven't spoke to Phil about the website for a little bit, really. But Mike beat him to it hands down. What was that? Sam was very vociferous. And Akai's just sent me a message on Facebook. Speak to Phil about Game of Thrones. He's got a checklist. When are we going to see the 40k city board? Yeah, you see, the board is built to a point. Everything's built. It's all unpainted, and that's at the studio. So again, it's down to whenever Phil's feeling good. We'll pretty much take the entire board around to Phil's. I reckon it'll take at least 3 or 4 days for us just to sit and paint it, because it's a huge board and there's so much going off on it.
Yeah.
It's chopped up. You know the Games Workshop city board with the city board itself that's all textured and stuff? He's chopped that up into bits, so the roads have been cut out, and he's arched them up and created bridges that go over the top of the separate parts. So there's like a river that runs through the city. There's a huge trench that runs around the edge of it, which is going to go onto the desert part of the board as well. And that's just amazing. And then he's got huge buildings. There's absolutely loads of buildings. So that city board is just going to be insane to actually build, paint. Well, it's built to paint it, to play on it. We're going to get loads of little posters printed as well. And in the past, Phil has created an LED. He ripped out this LED screen and created a trailer, which was basically like the Starship Troopers. Would you like to know more? And he created like a 2-minute loop where it went through about Tyranids and did little symbols that came up and stuff. And he's got that up on a billboard. So we're going to have working billboards as well as posters and really cool painted city. So I'm so excited for that. And when that board's built, we'll be playing a lot of 40k on it, that's for sure. I think you'll see that board will be used more often than not. But we do need to build a board for bolt action as well. And apparently they're called foxholes, Marcus says, not holes. What did I say? They're holes that people dig in them. To dig up. I'm useless. I'm so bad. What was that? Tank Museum Bovingdon does great talks on all their tanks on YouTube. One of the best places on earth. And their videos are great. Awesome, Stephen. I'll check that out as well. Robbie Cohen, Terrain Tutor's got an amazing D-Day board. I'll check that out as well. Oh, there's a list of stuff. Well, you need to. I'll pick you up one day, Mike, and we'll just sit downstairs with YouTube up, and we'll just go through everything.
Yeah.
Sam, old sprues make great bricks. That's good information as well. I bought some bricks in the past, but they would be expensive if I was doing a big board. So I think sprues will be the way to go. Going to actually be a tank event in my state in a few days. Can go around in APCs and a T55. Don't know what that is, but that sounds cool. I know the APC is an armoured personnel carrier. Got that. If you ever get the chance, go to the D-Day Museum in France where they build the Mulland Harbours. That is a bloody fantastic board I would like to play on. Okay. Right. So it's been a good Tuesday evening. I'm going to crack on with some editing. I'm going to try and get this battle report done, a big chunk of it done. We've got a lot of stuff to watch now between now and Friday. We're going to have a swat up on some bolt action. I think those tanks from Rubicon are going to arrive Thursday, Steve was saying, so we'll have a look at them. I'm going to have to do unboxings on them first, so I can't even get them out and build them on Thursday. I'll do unboxings on them first. So we might have to go and do that on Thursday evening, maybe, Mike?
Yeah.
We'll go over and we'll have a look at them. What else is being released tomorrow? There's quite a nice video tomorrow. If you like board games, I know Brain Spider likes board games, and there'll be a few others of you that like it, like the cool Mini or Not stuff. So Zombicide and games like that, where they have the harder, the cheaper plastic, but giant board game versions. So we did an unboxing. It was you and me, wasn't it, Mike? We did an unboxing on, what was it called? Endure the Stars. It's an awesome game. So much stuff. There's so much stuff in the box. It's ridiculous. So that's coming out tomorrow at 7 o'clock. I've switched the time so they're a bit earlier as well, because YouTube was saying that our peak time is something else. So we've changed it. So 7 o'clock tomorrow, that's coming out. And then there's something about cleaning resin. I did a video on cleaning resin because it's, information. Thursday, that's coming out at 7 o'clock as well. There was something else. What else was there, Mike?
I'm not sure.
I don't know. I'm tired now. Got stuff to do. Right. So Friday will be the next live show. It's already up for the clicky thing, so you can press it and you'll get reminded. The notification reminder. So go on and click that. Give us a like if you haven't already given us a like on the video, because that's nice of you to do that. Thank you, everybody who sat with us for however long this has been, an hour and a half, an hour, almost 2 hours again, Mike. Jeez. Ridiculous.
I think you've done a lot more talking than I've done again. So.
Whenever you want to jump in and take over, I will sit back.
I don't need to start talking more in some of these chats.
I'll just sit back and I can look at tanks. I'll sit and browse tanks.
Why just...
And you can talk. You bring up the chat.
Yeah.
We'll do that on Friday, actually. You can do more talking and I'll do more building and looking at tanks. Don't sound so disappointed. See you on Friday.
Because I can see how it goes. I'll panic.
Everybody, be well. Make sure you're all doing okay. Surreal, I hope you are better sooner rather than later. All the best to you. And thank you to everyone who's helped us with the history lesson tonight. That was our first wonderful history lesson. We've got a lot to go, but we appreciate everyone doing that. So it's credit time, and we'll see you on Friday.
See you.
Holy crap, whatever just flew past Mike was about the size of a pterodactyl. Credit time. See you in a bit.